Good morning, everyone. Let's start our Thursday class with some prayers first. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhavaswaha, Tatsavetra Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satgamya, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सवीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 ओम. In this class we are trying to study Taittiriya Upanishad. Okay. So let's do the Shanti mantra from this particular Upanishad also. Om Sharnaho Mitraha Sham Varunaha Sham No Bhavatu Arema Sham Na Indro Braspati Sham No Vishnu Urukrama Namo Brahmane Namate Vaya Tvam Eva Pratyaksham Brahm Asi Tvam Eva Pratyaksham Brahm Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tatmam Avatu Tatvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Last week we saw the description of the outer world, how it was caused, like a space, air, fire, water, earth. Now this great teacher is slowly gliding his discourse to the subjective theme of the self-analysis. Okay, so this is what we are starting today. So since the numbering is little different in your book, so this particular verse starts with Sa Ve Eshaha Purushaha. So if you can open your books on that. An Rasmaya. Okay. So if somebody can put the page number or the verse number on the chat, that will help everybody, because I don't want all of you to get lost while I'm speaking. Okay. So Sa Ve Eshaha Purushaha An Rasmaya. Okay. Yeah, you should always have some kind of a marker where we end, so it's easier to find where we're going to start today. And the last week verse was Tasmat Ve Tasmat Atman Akasha Sambhuta. And it ended with Anat Purushaha. That was the verse. See, these verses have been combined differently. That's why it gets a little confusing. Okay. It's a deep study. So that's why it's very important to have the right verse in front of you. So Sa Ve Eshaha Purushaha An Rasmaya Tasya Idam Ev Shira Ayam Dakshina Pakshaha Ayam Uttaraha Pakshaha Ayam Atmaha Idam Pucham Pratishtha Tat Api Eshaha Shlokaha Bhavati. So that's where this ends. So means he, Ve means indeed. Eshaha this. Purushaha, the person. An Rasmaya, consisting of the essence of a food, the ras of the an. Tasya means his, idam this, ev indeed, shira, head. Ayam this, dakshina, is right. Dakshina means the right side. Pakshaha, wing. Ayam means this, uttaraha, left. Pakshaha, wing. I am this Atma. Over here, this Atma means the trunk. Idam again means this Pucham, hind part. Pratishtha, foundation or support. Tat means that. Api also, Esha this, Shloka verse, Bhavati, there is. He indeed is this person consisting of the essence of a food. This is his head. This is his right wing. This is his left wing, left side. This is his trunk. This is the hind part forming his support and foundation. About this also is the following verse. So whenever he says that Tat api eshaha shloka bhavati, that means this Guru, he says, I'm telling you this, but there is a supportive verse from the Vedas also. So again, after describing the outer world, how it was caused, this teacher is gliding his discourse to the subjective theme of self-analysis. That is the goal of the spiritual quest, subjective search. And this is the technique. So first he says the physical body born of food. Okay, because first he talked about the outer things, the space, the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. Now he's talking about the physical body. Physical body born of food is described here as the essence of the food. An ras mein. When a person is explained as such that made of a food, sometimes we might misunderstand it. Okay, but if you think about it, when the baby is born, few pounds, how does this body grows? With the anna. So that's why the Shrishi over here is definitely guiding the student's attention to purely the physical sheath in us, the Annamaya Kosh, physical sheath. So he's pointing it out, the 5 main parts of the body. Our head, the right side, the left side, the trunk, and the lower limbs. So this is he's following strictly the tradition of the Vedic faith. That what I'm saying over here is not my philosophy or only my intellectual hypothesis, but it is fully supported by the words of the Vedas. So that's why he said, Tat api eshaha shlokaha bhavati. So now he is going to quote that shlok from the Vedas. Let's look at that. Anatve praja prajayante ya ka cha prithvigam shritah atho anen ev jivanti ath enat api antatah yanti angam hi bhutanam cheshtam tasmat sarv oshadam uchyate sarvam vaite annam apravadanti ye annam brahm upasate angam hi bhutanam cheshtam tasmat sarv oshadam uchyate अन्नात् भूतानि जायन्ते जातानि अनेन वर्धन्ते अध्येते अति च भूतानि तस्मात् अन्नम तत् उच्यते इति. Do you want to memorize this? Give it a little try. So, but first let's try to understand it. Annat, from food. Where means indeed praja, beings. Prajayante, are born. Ya means whichever. Ka means whoever. Cha means and. So whichever, whoever. Prithvigam on earth. Shritaha exists. Atha, therefore, or thereafter. Unknown by food. Ev means alone. Jivanti, live. Ath means again. Enat, into. Api, also. Antataha, ultimately. Yantihi, merge. Angam, food. He means verily Bhutanam of all creatures. Jyeshtham, the eldest. Tasmat, on that ground. Sarva Oshadham. It's like a medicament for all. Uchate is called. Sarvam, all. Ve means verily. Te means they. Annam, food. Apruvanti, obtain. Ye means those. Annam, food. Brahma, upasate. Upasate means meditate. Annagam, food. He means indeed Bhutanam, of all creatures. Jyeshtham, the eldest. Tasmat, on that ground. Sarva Oshadham, medicament for all. Uchate is called. Anat, from food. Bhutani, all beings. Jayante, are born. Jatani, are born. Anen, by food. Vardhante, grow. Adhyete, it is eaten. Ati, eats. Cha means and. Bhutani, beings. Tasmat, therefore. Annam, food. Tat means that. Uchate is called. Iti means thus. All beings that exist on earth are born of food. They thereafter live by food. So we are born because of food, and when we live over here also, we grow because of the food. They thereafter live by food. Again, they ultimately go back to it and merge to become food. Food for somebody else. So verily, food is the eldest of all the creatures. On that ground, it is called the medicament for all. Those who meditate on Brahm as food indeed obtain all food. From food, all beings are born. Having born, they grow by consuming the food. Food is that which is eaten by the beings, and also that which in the end eats them. Therefore, food is called annam. Tasmat annam tat uchyate iti. Okay. It means that effect arising from the cause exists in the cause, ultimately merges back again to become one with the cause. So cause is food, we grow because of the food, and ultimately we'll go back into the food. So the physical body of the person is born from the food, taken by his, starts from the father, then the mother, maintained and nourished by the food, consumed by itself, and ultimately, since the physical body of everyone must go back to the earth to fertilize and become food for others. So physical structure is called a food sheet. All living creatures of the world are born of a food. This is what this Rishi is telling us. If you look at the etymology of the word annam, annam, because this is the word given by the Shruti. Annam means that which is eaten, adhyate, which is eaten. And that which eats, ati, is called annam. So food is a great medicine in the right doses. It blesses us. Overdose will kill us. We know that. So the proper amount. If we know how to respect food, knowing fully well all its implications, what he's trying to tell us is that it's preeminent among all the beings, Jeshta. It is the greatest. For any person or any community, any nation, how important the food is. This is our Vedic seers are telling us. Now let's look at the next verse. Towards the Praname now. So this was about the Anname Kosh. Now Praname. Tasmat ve etasmat an rasmeyat anya antraha atma pranmeya ten eshaha purnaha save eshaha purushvidha ev tasya purushvidham anu ayam purushvidha tasya pranaha ev shira vyanaha dakshina paksha apanaha uttaraha paksha akasha atma prithvi pushcham pratishtha tat api eshaha shloka bhavati. Okay, so then he said there's another shlok from the Vedas to support this also. Tasmat, other than that, where means verily. Tasmat, then this. An rasmeyat, rasmeyat, then the one made of the essence of food. Anya, other. Antraha, inner. Atma, soul. Pranmaya, of pran. Then with it, eshaha, this, purnaha, is full. So means he, where indeed, eshaha, this, purush vidha, of the form of a person. Ev means exactly, the say his purush vidham, being in the form of a person. Anu, over here, anu means similarly. Ayam means this too, purush vidha, of the shape of the person. The say for that, pranaha, pran, ev means alone, shira, head, vyanaha, dakshina pakshaha, the right side is vyan. Apanaha, uttaraha pakshaha, apan is the left side. Akashaha, space, atma, the trunk. Prithvi, the earth. Pusham, the hind part. Pratishtha, foundation or support. That means that api also esha, this shloka, verse, bhavati, there is. Other than that, made up of the essence of food, there's an inner sheath made of the prana. With it, this is filled. This pranme is of the same form as the previous. So that means if the anme kosh is this wide, this tall, and this deep, The pranamaya kosh is everywhere. Okay. So that means in the head also, in the feet also, in the arms also, in the back also, every which way. So this is of the same form as the previous. It's not just a pranamaya kosh is only over here. Its human form is exactly as the human form of the former. That means the Annamaya kosh. Of that pran is the head, Vyan the right side, Apan the left side, Akash is the trunk, Earth is the tail or the support. About this also there is the following verse. So he is guiding our attention to a point interior to the gross physical structure. So grossest is the Annamaya kosh. So the second sheath is constituted of the prana. And prana only means that vitality which expresses itself in a body when it's alive. That energy. So the vital air sheath is described here as one interior to the food sheath. Forming. So exterior is formed, and then right alongside, inside it is prana. It's almost like a silk lining to the outer sheath. Or if you have some kind of a mold and you pour something into it, some liquid, and the liquid go into all the little bends and the kinks into that mold. So that's how the prana is. So pranamaya is occupying fully the food sheath. This is the point he's trying to make. And it expresses itself in different departments of activities. See, just like a human being, at different places, we have a different role to play. When we go to work, we have a different role. We could be either to a boss to somebody or subordinate to somebody. At home, we could be the mother or the father. When we are in front of our elders, we are children, no matter how old we are. So different roles we play. The same way, the same pran is known by the 5 different names according to the functions. The life's vitality functioning in the organs of perception is called prana. Expression of life as the vitality that presides over the action that throws out or rejects from the physical body is called apan. So according to functioning, it's a prana actually. It's the energy, but the name is given according to the function. Just like I said before, when I'm teaching, I'm a teacher. Okay. So it's according to the function. When you are learning, you are a student. And when you teach, you are a teacher. So function. So pran and apan. And then what is a vyan? The strength in administering the depth of the digestion is saman. Saman. Because the food is being distributed. But who distributes it? That is the vyan. And then energy which helps the ego center to live one physical structure at the time of the death is called udan. So these are the 5 he mentioned in this verse. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with this from other classes also. So these 5 prans together constitute the life's vitality in a living creature. So then he says, pran is the head, vyan and apan are the right and the left sides. The trunk of it is described as the akash, the space. Udan. Its lower limbs are explained here as earth, because gravitational force is that which keeps us on the surface of the earth. So this idea we'll see that endorsed by the Vedic mantra in the next verse. Pranam deva anuprananti manushya pashva cha ye prana hi bhutanam ayu tasmat sarv ayusham uchyate sarvam evate ayu yanti ye pranam brahm upasate prana hi bhutanam ayu tasmat sarv ayusham uchyate iti. Pranam deva, the vital energy. Deva means the gods. Over here it means the senses. Which one are our devtas in this physical structure? Our senses, they are our devtas. Anupranante, depending upon live. Anuprananti, prananti means live. Manushya, the human beings. Pashva, the animals. Cha mean and, ye means whatever. Pranaha, the energy, vital energy. He means indeed bhutanam, of all beings. Ayu, lifespan. Tasmat, therefore, Sarav Ayusham, universal life, Uchyate is called. Sarvam, all, Ev means verily, Te means they, Ayu, span of life, Yantihi, reach, Ye means those, Pranam Brahm Upasate, Upasate means meditate or worship. Pranaha, he means verily, Bhutanam, of beings, Ayu, the lifespan, Tasmat, therefore, Sarav Ayusham, universal life, Uchate is called, iti means thus. Through Prana, the gods live. That means the senses live through Prana. Because of the Prana, with the help of the Prana. And so also do men and the animal kingdom. Okay. So this Prana, the vital energy, is important to human beings also, to the animal kingdom also. Prana is verily the life of beings. Therefore, it is called the universal life or the life of all. Those who worship Prana come to live the full span of their life. Prana verily is the life of beings. Therefore, it is called universal life or the life of all. So this literal translation itself is very clear for this verse. What do you mean who worship Prana? That means the people who live with a self-control. And that's why yogis, they said that pranayama is the soul of yoga. Do pranayama every day with a full faith, with a properly, systematically sit down and do the pranayama. By avoiding all foolish dissipation, you can come to live a full span of life with the help of this vital energy. Full span of human life. Let's look at the next verse. See, where does it take us? Tasya eshaha eva shriratma ya purvasya tasmat ve etasmat pranam yat anyah antratma manomaya ten eshaha purnaha save eshaha purushvidha eva tasya purushvidham anu eyam purushvidha tasya yaju eva shira Rig Dakshina Paksha, Sam Uttaraha Paksha, Adeshaha Atma, Atharva Angirasaha, Usham Pratishtaha, Tat Api Esha Shaloka Bhavati. Thus say of that, Esha this, Ev means verily, Sharir Atma, embodied Atma. Ya means who, Purvasya of the former. Tasmat, Ve etasmat, as already explained indeed. Pranam yat, consisting of pran. So this is in connection with the pranmay kosh. Now he says anya, other than. So other than the anmay and the pranmay, antratma, inner self, manomaya, constituted of mind, mental sheath. Ten means with that, eshaha, this one, purnaha, full. Sa means he, verily, eshaha, this, purush vidha, in the form of a person. Ev only, thus say it's purush vidtam, human form. Anu, depending upon, I am this one, purush vidha, the shape of a person. Thus say of it, yaju, that means the Yajurved. Ev means only shiraha, the head. Rigved, dakshinaha pakshaha, the right side. Sam uttaraha paksha, Samved, the left side. Adeshaha atmaha, scriptural injunction. Atharva angirasa, the hymns of the Atharva Ved. Pusham, the hind part. Pratishtaha, sport. Tat means about that. Api also, Esha this, Shaloka verse, Bhavati there is. So again he says there is a Shalok about that in the Vedas. Of that former means Anme, this Pranme is the Atma. So that means without the Pranme, Anme, Kosh cannot grow. Different from this Pranme, self made up of the prans, there is another self constituted of the mind. With the self made up of mind, the pranme is full. So that means wherever the pranme kosh is, exactly at the same place the manome kosh is too. So this also is of the form of a person. Because sometimes we think mind is just here. Everywhere. Every cell of our body. Its human form is according to that of the forms. Of it, Yaju is the head. Rig is the right side. Sam is the left side. The scriptural injunction, the Adesh, is its support. There is the following verse about it. So over here, the mental sheath, the Manomya Kosh, is described as filling the entire area of the vital air or the Pranmaya Kosh, which in turn fills up the form of a food sheath, the Annamaya Kosh. And for this, that means the Manomaya Kosh, the Yajurved mantra from the head, and the Rigved and the Samved mantra from the right and the left side. Yajurved mantras, they contain all those mantras. They have no strict rules regarding the number of letters in each line. And there is no definite rule regarding the ending letter in each line either. So that freedom is there. In the Rigved mantra, they are strictly bound by the laws of the metrical composition. So this is some of the information. If we know, then it makes more sense to us. The Vedic mantras are in themselves impotent unless the practitioner is ready to approach them in a spirit of total cooperation. Entire intellect and mind has to be utilized to understand these Vedic mantras. That's why these mantras, they really mean that symbol upon which we do the reflection. We cannot take them literally. We got to reflect upon them. That's why in those days, the students of the Vedas, they had to be pure brahmacharis. Utilize all your mental, intellectual, physical capacities for the sadhana. So the mental sheath is nothing but the Vedas. That's what he's saying over here. Mental sheath is nothing but the Vedas. It is quite striking and appropriate. So that's why he mentioned all these Vedas in there for the mental sheath. And the detail, the rules of the conduct during ritualisms constitute the trunk of the Manome. And the Atharva Ved, he says, constituted of mantras considered as the foundation upon which the mind exists. And we all know what is Atharva Ved, all the knowledge of the secular sciences. That is Atharva Ved. Yantra, Tantra, machines. Because mind needs to gain a deeper knowledge about the secular world also. We live in this secular world. So he says, the trunk is foundation is that. So rituals are important. Foundation is important. And then let it imagine also. Imagination is important too. Give the freedom to your intellect. Our Vedic seers, they recognized the importance of the secular well-being through this material knowledge. Great contribution our rishis have made in the development of the outside world, as well as the mind and intellect of a seeker also. Let's look at next one. So this next one is from the Vedas. He says, this supports what I have already said. Yataha vacha nirvatante aprapye manusasa anandam brahmana vidvan na vibheti kadachaniti tasya esha eva sharir atma ya purvasya. Yata means where. Vachaha, all speech. Nirvatante turns back. Aprapye, without reaching it. Manasa saha. Manasa is the mind. Saha means along with. So along with the mind. Anandam, bliss. Brahmana, vidwan. He who knows. Na means not. Bheti, he fears. Kadachan, at any time. Iti means thus. Tasya, of that. Eshaha, this. Ev means verily. Sharir Atma, embodied soul. Ya means who? Purvasya, of the former. He says where all the speech turn back with the mind, without reaching it. That is the eternal truth, the Brahma. He who knows the bliss of eternal truth, the Brahma, fears not at any time. This mind is the embodied soul of the Praname. Of this Praname, the Manome is the self. We can see that the theme of this Upanishad or any Upanishad is the spirituality. To know ourselves, the Atma. Atma being the eternal subject cannot be objectively indicated. So that's why when we read verses like this, sometimes we say, what is it trying to do? It's trying to make our mind so concentrated so that we just experience this subjective reality. To indicate that the self is neither available for the physical perception nor for mental and intellectual comprehension. That's what he's saying over here, where all the speech turn back with the mind without reaching it. So that means speech is also, no matter how eloquently we can speak or how sharp our mind is, it cannot reach there. These are just only instruments. So all speech turn back. So that means words fail. Definitely the words have the mighty power, but words cannot paint the ideas. They can only report the incidents. Sure, they can express the emotions, but they have the limitation. I'm sure we have all felt in our life somewhere here and there where we say the words cannot describe how I feel. The words fall short. They cannot express our feeling truly. The entire realm of things which are happening can express in terms of words, can be grouped in 4 categories only. Beyond that, we cannot express it. The scriptures, they say that these 4 categories are jati, gun, kriya, and sambandha. Jati means the species. That means furniture, the table, the chairs, the food, the plants. Sure, we can explain it, jati. How do they look like? How big and small they are. Second is gun. Gun means attributes. Attribute like good, bad, black, white. Sure, that can be captured in words. Third one, I said, the kriya, the activities. That's like a verb. Eating, walking, jumping, smiling. We can convey that with the words. And fourth is a sambandha, the relationship between the things. Relationship as wife, husband, friend, father, mother. Sure, we can express those relationships. So these are the only 4 headings under which we can express with the words. Jati, guna, kriya, and sambandha. But something like infinite reality, which is one without a second, which is without jati, without kriya, without guna, and without sambandha. Words cannot express it. You have to only experience it. The mind cannot feel the truth. Our intellect cannot know it, because the mind and the intellect are inert matter. They gain their capacity to feel and know only when they are dynamized by the conscious principle in us, which is called Atma. Otherwise, they are inert. So he who has come to realize the Atma within himself will feel no fear at all. This is what he's telling us, no fear. The state of fearlessness is here equated with the state of perfection. State of perfection. Abhyam. No fear. Perfection means there's only one. Fear is only when there are two or more than two, then there's a fear. If it's only one, there's no fear. We are all one. What is to be afraid of? That is a state of perfection. And this is where this great Rishi is taking us. So let's stop it here and then we can discuss some of these verses. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.